Hey everyone, I am here with my favorite foundation video. This was a highly requested video when I brought it up in one of my July favorites or something. Everyone said they wanted to see a foundation favorite, so these are my favorite foundations of drugstore to high-end, from luminous kind of finishes to matte finishes to long-wearing foundations. I think I have a pretty good mix. These are kind of my holy grail favorite foundations that I really love. They all kind of do a little something different, and they're great foundations to kind of mix with each other to get maybe a luminous glow with a long-wearing properties. So the first one I'm going to start with is probably the one I've used the longest. It's the Revlon ColorStay. This is the old traditional regular Revlon ColorStay. This is in the combination to oily skin formula. There is a dry skin formula. I am a little bit of, I have some dry areas, but I also have my oily T-zone. So I find that this works the best at catering that. It doesn't dry me out. And I just love that there is a wide color selection, and I do love that there is a dry or oily option. I am in 150 Buff. This is my winter shade, so this one I haven't opened yet because it's a little too light, so I'd probably go up a shade now. But I find that it is just, the coverage is beautiful, it's very blendable, it stays put, doesn't transfer, so if you're going to be wearing a white shirt, you don't have to worry about it transferring on your clothes or all over everything, which is great. It's something I always look for in a foundation. I hate when it transfers onto my clothing. And it's easily accessible because it is a drugstore foundation. I think it ranges between $10 and $12 depending on where you get it. But Revlon is always having sales. They're always having buy one get one half off or 40% off, so you always have an opportunity to find this at a cheaper, less expensive price. The color selection is really great. It has SPF 6. This is a foundation that photographs amazingly because there isn't a whole lot of SPF in it. So the higher the SPF, the more likely you're going to have that flashback in flash photography. So your face is going to look white, it's going to have a white cast, you're going to look like a ghost where your body looks normal. So this is a great one for if you're doing any kind of film photography because the coverage is amazing and you won't get that flashback. So good old Revlon ColorStay, I love this. And now going on to the new Revlon ColorStay product that they just came out with. This is the Revlon ColorStay Whipped Makeup, and this is amazing. I have been using this non-stop. I'm wearing it today. The coverage is phenomenal. The only downside is it's in this glass jar, so it's not very travel friendly. You'll probably have to scoop it into another container if you want to take it with you. I store it upside down like this because I don't like to scoop into products. Because this is a thicker consistency, I'll show you. You screw open the jar. It has this stopper, which I highly recommend keeping it in there. And I just scoop the product off the cap. So this is what it looks like. It's kind of a pudding type texture is the best way for me to describe it. And I store it upside down at all times. It's not all going to sink down to the lid, and then when you open it up it's a big mess. Just enough product seems to travel down onto that lid for me to use it. So I store it upside down. It helps that I can just dab my brush in it or dab my finger into it. That's the way I apply it. I put some on my finger, I dab it all over my face, and then blend it with a flat top kabuki brush. I've heard that some people with dry skin say that this did not work for them. I would suggest giving it a shot with a beauty blender or a damp sponge because that's going to add a little bit of moisture to the foundation and help it glide on a little bit better. Plus it might help with any dry areas you have. Because instead of buffing it around and you're drawing attention to those dry patches because you're lifting that dry skin when you're buffing in a circular motion, if you use a damp beauty blender, you're pouncing it like this. So you're laying that dry skin flat rather than, flicking it up so that it makes it really noticeable. So I would recommend, if you really want to give this another shot, try it with a damp sponge because that way you'll add a little bit of moisture and you'll be pouncing it onto your skin rather than buffing it and lifting up that dry skin. That's kind of my tip for anybody with dry skin, but I absolutely love this. I'm in shade 200 Sand Beige. This is one of those foundations that when I put it on, I can't tell from where my skin is and where the foundation's been put on because the match is that perfect. The coverage is phenomenal. The lasting power is great. I don't find I need to touch up throughout the day. It doesn't transfer. It's kind of a it's kind of like a satiny matte finish. So you don't look flat, but you get that really beautiful coverage, flawless coverage. It's a thicker foundation for sure, but I don't feel like I have a bunch of makeup caked on. I don't find that it gets cakey or anything. So this is an amazing foundation. I highly, highly, highly recommend all of you to try this out. If you don't like it, you can always return it if you're in the United States. But this is just a fantastic foundation. I would probably prefer this over this one, but this formula does offer the dry and the oily combination option, a wide range of colors, where this one is a little less color selection and you only have this one formula. So for this foundation here, I either use the flat top kabuki or I do use a beauty blender to apply this one too. Then the last drugstore foundation that I love is the new L'Oreal True Match Lumi Healthy Makeup, and I have this in 2 shades because I'm a little bit in between shades. So I have it in N1, N2, which is Soft Ivory, Classic Ivory, and then I have it in N3, which is Natural Buff. If I'm using my self-tanner, Natural Buff is a perfect match. If I am no self-tanner and my winter shade is going to be more of like this N1, N2, so I'm kind of in between, so I mix the two. I love that it has a pump. It makes it very nice to distribute just as much product as you need. Also, it's a lot more sanitary. It is in a glass jar. It comes in 1 fluid ounce. The same price point, between $10 and $13. Again, L'Oreal is buy one, get one half off quite frequently at the drugstores. The color range, it has amazing color selection. The one thing that L'Oreal just hit right on the target is they cater to warm, cool, and neutral. And then there's quite a few shades. I think there's 4 or 5 shades between each of those different skin tones. So it's really nice that they give you the option to find a cool, warm, or neutral balance for your foundation, because most of the time foundations are either way too yellow or orange, or they're way too pink. They don't really cater to the neutral skin tones. So that is why I absolutely love this line. It is the Lumi foundation, so it's going to be a little bit more luminous. I don't really want to say dewy, but it's a little glowy. If you have very oily skin, I'm not sure if this will work for you. Dry skin, this would be phenomenal. Normal skin, it's phenomenal. I have, like I said, combination oily. My T-zone gets a little oily and I don't have any issues. But if you have extremely oily skin, this may not be the best option. But if you're in the United States, if something cosmetic-wise does not work for you, you can return it. Drugstores will take it back with a receipt. Target, Walmart, department stores, if makeup doesn't work for you, you can always return it. So I thought that that was just common knowledge, but a lot of people, I guess, don't know that you can return products if they don't work. And I think that goes for anywhere in the United States. So if you're in other countries, I'm not sure how that works. But yeah, if the color match doesn't work for you, if it makes you break out, as long as you're within their return policy, you can return it. So just thought I would let you guys know that. So now on to the higher end makeup. I will start with MAC because that's kind of middle of the line between high end and drugstore. The first one I have here is the Pro Longwear Foundation. This is 1 fluid ounce. This is a little bit more pricey. I can't remember the exact price. It's between $20 and $30, I believe. I'll make sure to link it down below. I am in the shade NC15 here. I'm usually in the NW shades. I'm not too sure why I got the NC15, but it seems to work okay. It's a little too light for me now, so I do like to mix it with other foundations to kind of get that perfect shade. So if I want a kind of a long wearing foundation, I may mix it with a little bit of the Magic Lumi so I get the glow, the luminosity of this foundation, but the long wearing of this one. That's another tip too. If you have a luminous foundation you like and a long wear, try mixing them together because you might get a really pretty luminous long wearing foundation. I'm almost out of this one. I'm about, probably have a quarter of it left. This is a great foundation. It is long wearing. It has SPF 10 in it. The coverage is really nice. The wear time is nice. Again, you don't have to worry about it transferring on your clothes. And I do love that it has the pump. It makes it very sanitary. I know mine is kind of dirty and messy right now, but this is a really, really great foundation. I find that this is one of them that isn't like an orangey color on me. And like I said, it's long wearing, so I do love this one. The next MAC foundation is the MAC Match Master. Now this is really nice because it's more of a neutral based color line, not warm, not cool, and they have like kind of half shades. So I'm in shade 1.0. So there's a very large variety of different shades that you can choose from. I probably am not a 1.0 right now. That's kind of my winter shade, and that's even a little bit light for me. I think that the wear time is pretty nice on it. The coverage is absolutely beautiful. It's kind of a satiny finish. I don't find that it's very dewy, but I don't find that it makes me look matte and flat. So this is a really great foundation if you're looking at trying some of the MAC foundations. I would recommend the Pro Longwear or the Match Master, depending on what you're looking for in a foundation. Next foundation is the Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Full Coverage Foundation. I love this stuff. I purchased mine from Sephora. QVC does sell it. Tarte.com sells it. This is long wear makeup, oil-free and waterproof, and I do find that it stays on very long. The color I have is light medium, which I think is a pretty decent match for me. They are a little bit on the yellowy side, so just be aware of that. At least this one is. I don't know what the other shades are because obviously this is the only one I'm using. It comes with 1.7 fluid ounces, so it's a little bit larger than your traditional 1.0 fluid ounces. And I want to say this was around $30 to $38. But it has lasted a long time. You do not need very much product, and it does have SPF 15 in it. I don't find that it's oily or wears off throughout the day. When I go to take my makeup off, it looks just as good as it did when I first put it on. And the way that I apply this is with the Tarte brush. I've tried this with the flat top kabuki, I've tried it with my beauty blender, and I just don't like the way that it applies. I think this is the brush. If you go to QVC, you can order them together. I unfortunately bought them separately, so this is a pretty pricey brush, about $30-something, $36 I want to say. The size is quite large. If you compare it to like my Sigma brush, the size is quite huge, but I don't find that it's difficult to get it into like the small crevices, like around your nose and under your eyes. It's very soft and fluffy, but it's dense at the same time, and it just is really good at kind of buffing it into the skin. Not like your traditional liquid makeup, but it's not quite a cream. It's kind of right in between. It has a little bit of a moussey type texture, but it's very, very blendable, very light. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin, but provides really, really great coverage, and it lasts all day. The next foundation was kind of a mistake. I meant to pick up the Estee Lauder Double Wear, which I've heard amazing things about. And I was at a CCO and I accidentally picked up the Estee Lauder Lucidity Light Diffusing Makeup, which actually wasn't a bad mistake. I'm in the color 2N1 Ivory Beige 06, and it's a really beautiful finish. It's kind of a satiny finish. It does have some luminosity to it. It's very like light on the skin, but it covers amazingly. And it's just a really beautiful, like satiny, glowy finish without looking greasy or oily, and I really, really love that. It's a great foundation to also mix with maybe a longer wearing foundation. So this would be something I might mix with like my Pro Longwear foundation, even my Revlon ColorStay, so I still get that luminosity without it being too greasy, but I also get that matte sort of long wearing finish. So I really love this. I'm not sure if this is in the permanent line. I'll have to check. I'll make sure I link everything down below because I don't know what the normal price for this is. I want to say I paid about $22 for it, but I've been really, really pleased with it. I really love it. The finish is gorgeous. It's very lightweight, and it does have SPF 8 in it. Then the last for my traditional foundations is the Clinique Stay Matte Oil Free Makeup, and I'm in the shade 07 Cream Chamois, and I love this stuff. It's really great at keeping you matte all day without making you look flat, but it lasts all day as well. The coverage is phenomenal. You don't need a whole lot of product. I like to apply this with either a beauty blender or a flat top kabuki brush. I think either one works really, really great. The coverage is great. It lasts all day. You stay matte. You don't get greasy or shiny. It doesn't transfer. It doesn't wear off throughout the day. And your makeup's going to look the same as it did when you first put it on in the morning. If you have really dry skin, I probably wouldn't recommend this because it may just kind of dry you out a little bit. That's what the lady at Clinique said. But for me, with my combo, oily, normal, whatever kind of skin I have, I find it doesn't dry me out. It doesn't make any dry areas more dry, but it really helps to control the oil in my T-zone so I don't look shiny throughout the day, I don't look greasy, and it just stays put really, really well. And I want to say this was like between $22 and $26, so it's actually pretty reasonable price foundation, so I love that. And then last but not least, this is a BB cream that I do use as a foundation. I think it has phenomenal coverage, whereas a lot of the drugstore BB creams are very minimal coverage. This is the LOreal Triple the Solutions BB cream. It is SPF 30 and it also has whitening and wrinkle care properties in it. So this is really great for those of you who want to have a product that is doing something good for your skin as well as providing you with some coverage. It has the SPF 30, which is so great, so you don't need an additional SPF if you're going to be out in the sun. It has whitening properties in it, so if you have hyperpigmentation issues, if you have sunspots, if you have any kind of discoloration on your face, maybe redness from like acne scars or something like that, it has whitening properties to help kind of diminish that over time. It's not going to be a miracle worker that you put it on once or twice and those are gone, but it does have properties in it that are supposed to help with that. Also, it has wrinkle care, anti-aging properties in it, which is what a BB cream should have. So if you're looking at getting an actual BB cream, make sure that it has the SPF and the antioxidants and anti-aging properties in it, because that is the purpose of a BB cream. This product, I really love it because it keeps your face feeling hydrated, but it doesn't make you feel oily or greasy. The only downside is this is more towards fair to, well, I wouldn't even say fair because it's got some color to it. Probably light to medium skin tones. If you're dark skin tone or extremely fair, I wouldn't recommend this because it is colored. Some BB creams are more on the gray side, which is unfortunate because nobody wants to look gray. I love this because it's not a gray type formula or coloring. It has a pump, which is amazing. It is, how many ounces is this one? 50 mil. I think it's like 1.5 ounces. But I already applied it to my hand. So this is the hand that has it and this is the hand that doesn't. The finish is really nice. It's kind of a satiny finish. It's not completely matte, but it's not a dewy finish. The coloring is really nice. It matches pretty well with my skin tone. A lot of people I know have mixed this with foundations to kind of get their perfect color. I absolutely love this. I apply this either with a flat top kabuki brush or with my beauty blender. Either works amazingly. You can use your hands if you want to. The consistency is really nice. It's more of a cream consistency rather than a liquid. And it's a really, really pretty, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, really pretty bright pink. Kind of like what I'm wearing right now. That's really pretty. Thank you.